I'm sitting at Spivey Gap, which is not about 11 miles south of Uncle Johnny's hostel. And while I was in the woods hiking about 1.5 miles, and y'all know that's big miles for me, I ran into another through hiker, and while we sat and talked on the trail, I asked her if she wanted a soda pop in a little while, and she said, I'm not turning that down. So here she is. She's made her way down to the truck, and I've asked her if she wanted to share a little bit of her story with us, and she said yes, so you know that excited me. Let's get and find out something about her. Give us your trail name and a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my trail name is Kidska.
Spell that.
Kidska.
All one word?
Yep, all one word, kind of like kiddo.
You want to tell us about how you got that?
Sure, yeah. It's from my dad. He hiked, he's done 3 sections with me, and he did the first 10 days of my through hike with me. And so it's kind of like kiddo, but his side of the family is Eastern European heritage, and so the ska just kind of gets, you know, added on to things.
Sure.
So Kidska, and he has kind of become known as Dadska.
Dadska.
Yeah.
That's cool. And that's cool, Dad coming out and hiking with you.
Yeah, it's been really
And he's
special.
hiked a lot because you told me the sections he's hiked.
He has. I think he's done about 300 or so miles with me, and then he also hiked in 1976. He did Katahdin to Mount Washington.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
He's a lot bigger hiker than I am, that's for sure.
Yeah. So it's
Well,
been good.
Dad, you've got a wonderful girl here. I've talked to her in the woods a while, and I know you're proud of her. And I will just say to her right now, congratulations on what you've done already and what you're about to accomplish, becoming a through hiker here in 2018. How long have you been thinking about doing something like this?
So it had been on my, kind of in the back of my mind for a while, just because my dad has so many stories about it. But I didn't actually decide that I wanted to hike until last November. I graduated college in December, and so around that time I was kind of trying to find a job, looking for jobs, applying for jobs, and when I started doing that I realized I didn't want to get a job right away. I wanted to do something else. I wanted to have an adventure, and hiking the AT was always, you know, like I said, kind of one of those things. So.
That's pretty smart. Do they teach that in college? Because a lot of college kids comes out here and does this after college. I'm just wondering, I should have went to college maybe and taught me how to do that.
No, but I've always liked being outside, and I don't know, it just seemed like a, you know, a good challenge, a good adventure to do, so.
Now, you've been smiling since I've seen you. Do you do that all the time, or is the trail making you do that?
I pretty much do that all the time, yeah.
Good deal. Brothers or sisters?
No, I'm an only child.
Only child?
Yep.
You're not spoiled?
I hope not.
Now, what's been the hardest part if you can go back and look at a section of the trail maybe? Does anything pop up in your mind when I ask you that question?
Yeah, I had some trouble in Vermont.
The mud or?
No, it wasn't too muddy. I think just like I had some trouble with some of the mountains, and
Okay.
I got sick.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't completely know what happened. I just had a few days where I felt really bad, had a little bit of a fever.
Did you get off the trail?
I took a 0 day. I went to an urgent care. They told me they thought I had either allergies or a sinus infection.
Okay.
Which I don't think that was true. I think I was dehydrated.
Right.
Was what it was.
Sure.
So that part was kind of hard. Just those climbs, I wasn't quite used to it. So.
And I asked you on the trail, so I'll ask you on the camera, what made you flip-flop instead of a south or a northbound?
There were 2 main things. One was the amount of people. I didn't really want to be a part of the bubble, or, you know, especially at the very beginning of northbound season, I heard a lot of stories about just tons of people and not necessarily good, leave no trace and things like that. And the other factor that led me to a flip-flop was the weather.
Okay.
I didn't really want to walk in the snow.
Okay. How much trail magic have you gotten on the trail this year?
So during my northbound part of my flip-flop, I got a pretty decent amount because I was with the northbounders.
Do you think that had a part of it because they were waiting for the northbounders and you just happened to be with them?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think that that's playing out up there now after the northbounders are gone? The trail magic. You know, like people that was doing trail magic. You think they just basically do it for the northbounders that come through every year, and now the flip-floppers are tying in with the northbounders, they get to participate?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Now, since you've flipped, how much trail magic?
not much.
Really?
This has been really pretty much the first like kind of planned trail magic. What most often has happened on my southbound part is I've met people who then, because they find out that I'm a thru
Come out and bring you something.
Not even that. I haven't had people come out
Okay.
specifically for me,
Okay.
but they'll like offer food, or like yesterday I had a guy offer to buy my lunch at McDonald's. Things like that.
Sure,
like,
sure. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
It happens a lot for the northbounders because in the south there's major trail magic. In fact, probably too much of it going north at every road crossing, even the gravel roads and dirt roads, because there's so many people want to help the hikers.
Oh my gosh.
And it's almost like the hikers, know that they're going to get something at the next road, so they don't even worry,
Yeah.
But I figured that, and then, by the way, though, because my wife hiked it in 2014, so I know a little bit about how it happens. When we got up to the north, when she hiked it, there was very, very little trail magic. Very little.
Oh, okay.
Hardly none.
Wow.
For a true northbounder up in the 100-mile wilderness, we didn't, I helped them. But I don't remember above Harper's Ferry, and I was out there a lot with them, I don't remember 3 or 4 times that there was trail magic that year.
Wow.
And maybe it's changing now. What... is it anything, when I ask you the most interesting, or I don't know the words to use, that's happened to you on the trail, surprising or whatever? Anything jump out at you? I asked a guy that one time, and he said a goat run up to him, a wild goat. So, you could say anything, I guess.
Oh, I don't know. I think just how... not anything, one thing in particular.
Sure.
I think just how much I liked climbing up the rock scrambles and stuff.
And you didn't
like
know that going in, you feel like?
Not really. I didn't. So I'm from Ohio, and there's not
Didn't have a lot of
really-
rocks and
there's
climbing.
not really
no
mountains
hills,
at
right?
all.
Right.
So I at first thought, especially like going into the whites and stuff, I was kind of intimidated.
Sure.
Didn't know what I was getting into, and then I just really loved it. Really loved those hard rocky.
See, that's
sections.
interesting. My wife, she liked the rock slides and rock climbs more than any of it too, and that's not the common. Most people don't like that as much as the other.
Right.
But there's something about. It seems like the women I talk to more seem to like that more than the men. They seem to be more afraid of it than the women. I don't know if y'all more agile or what the deal is, but any equipment failures or anything like that?
No, not
Okay.
really.
So you've done good research prior to hiking, undoubtedly.
Yeah, I did a lot of research.
Tell me how you did that. If people are looking to through hike next year, how can they research? What do you recommend?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on the internet.
Really? Yeah.
Looking at what other people brought and other people's advice. And I tried to get as light as I could beforehand.
Okay.
There's like, the ultralight backpacking
Right.
community. So I tried to pick things that would work for me from that. And then I went on 2 kind of like dedicated practice hiking trips in March and April before I left.
What kind of weight are you carrying now? Do you know?
My base weight is about 12 pounds.
Holy cow! Holy cow!
So
By the way, where is your pack? Let me get a picture
Right
of that.
now it's kind of loaded with
Yeah,
food.
because you got a lot of food because you're going a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, base weight 12 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't surprise me for somebody that's hiked this many miles. How many miles do you have left? Do you know about
It's
from
like
here?
300.
3 something, right? 50, okay.
50.
Right.
Yeah, about
Right.
then.
Now, I've got a lot of things I want to ask you, but I don't
Sure.
want to keep you a long time.
Oh, that's fine.
What's a couple of the trail names that really stick out to you this year that you've met?
Man. So I had one friend named Baby Bird.
Baby Bird.
I
okay.
really liked it. Yeah.
Now, is that the one that carried the bird? No, there was
No.
one about a squirrel. They carried a squirrel that they rescued. Did you hear that story?
No, I
Okay.
didn't.
Okay.
But anyway, he didn't have a knife. And so he decided that he really liked eating like beef sticks with his ramen in his pot for dinner, and he had no knife to cut them up. So he basically would, take a bite of his beef stick and Baby Bird it back into his pot.
Oh,
which is how he
wow.
got his name.
That's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
What have you missed the most in the way of food when you're out here?
A lot of times it's vegetables.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, you can eat whatever you want, so I end up eating a lot of like junk and dense calories, which are most often fat, but like just salads.
Calorie counters. I know all of y'all are calorie counters.
Yeah.
That means in a honey bun and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you had a luxury item, and that can be anything from a TV to whatever, that could be at your disposal every night that you stopped, what do you think it would be?
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to give you time to think because there's a lot of luxury items
Yeah,
that you
anything I want.
Anything you want. Anything that you want. What do you think you would choose?
Hot tub.
A hot tub. Okay. That's a good answer.
So,
That's
yeah.
a good answer. You know what? When I started doing that, when I first started thinking, I said, I know what they're going to say. They're going to say a toilet. Nobody says a toilet. Y'all have gotten so used to just doing it in the woods that that's not a luxury anymore.
Yep.
Some said a king-size bed, some said a car so they could go to the store, you know, things like that. But I was interested to see what you say. A hot tub. That's interesting. How many 0 days have you taken? Do you know about?
I don't know the exact amount. Probably around, maybe around 10.
Okay.
I don't know.
What's the longest you like to go without a shower?
Longest I like to go or longest I've
No,
gone?
no, yeah, you understand that you won't go any longer than that, even if you have to flag somebody down and say, take me to water, take me to water. Some people say 10 days, some people say 2 weeks, some
I'd
people
probably
say
about a week and a half.
a week and a half. That's
Yeah.
about 10 days. Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds like the most common answer. I used to ask this a lot, and I'm going to ask you this today. What percentage of the time while you're walking that you're looking down at your feet?
Maybe 70.
That's good.
I try not to look down at my feet too much.
The common answer collectively, throwing out the lows and the highs, is around 88% of all the people that I asked.
Wow.
Yeah, some people say 100, and I know that's not true. But
Got
really,
the
I
blinders on.
understand they are looking because you trip so easy, and you're watching for snakes and everything else, you know. And a lot of people stop and look a lot, but my question, of course, being as you're walking, you know, when you're looking down. I know it's a lot of time. What's some of the hostels that stand out in your mind that you've stayed at?
The first one, my first 0 was at one in Pennsylvania called Rock and Soul.
Oh, yes,
And
that's
that
that
was-
retired state
That
trooper.
was- yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his wife, and the food there, oh my gosh, I think Jody was her name.
Yeah.
She's just a fantastic cook. So
Did you
that-
stay in the little bunk room or the trailer?
I actually stayed in their basement. 'Cause
Okay.
there were so many people there that day.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. How many are they taking at the max, you reckon, now? Because it used to, they only put them in that little trailer and in that little bunk room.
I don't remember. It wasn't.
You think it was 10 of y'all?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Trying to remember. I think they had a limit on it because of like their license.
Yeah, they used to have a limit before, too, and I
I
didn't
don't
know.
remember what it was though. It wasn't that many people.
What about another hostel? What's another one?
I stayed at the Yellow Deli. in
Uh-huh. My
Rutland.
wife liked that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
liked that. Then
Did-
my dad was with me for that part too, and I said, "Dad, we're gonna go.
Did you get-
Stay here."
Did you use their clothes? Camp
did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, what about Four Pines Hostel around Maccabee Knob?
Yep, I stayed.
You stayed
there
at
as
Joe's
well.
place. That's
Yeah,
good.
I heard some mixed things.
You do?
Well, there was some mixed gut hook comments
Sure,
and stuff,
sure.
so I wasn't sure.
Sure.
But I really liked Joe.
I do, too.
And I gave him a bit of a hard time. He had told us a story about these hikers who had used his car and a belt had broke and they called for a ride. Like they had basically left it in this, they had gone to see a movie and they left it in the parking lot and called for a ride back and told him. And he said, well, you guys better not be at the hostel when I get there. So he let us take his car out just to the restaurant and to
Yes,
resupply.
Catawba.
And so me and another hiker, we called him from the gas station. We said, Joe, the belt broke on the car. We're getting a ride back.
I'm going to ask Joe about that when I see him. I'm going to see him in a week or so.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell him, I say, hey, that girl that broke that belt on your car, I saw her the other day, and I wasn't going to let her use my car. How'd you like that restaurant?
Home place.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that was
Yeah, I stop and eat
wonderful.
there anytime I'm within 50 miles.
Yeah,
Did
that
you
was really good.
did you stay at Delville before you went to up Maccabee?
I did.
Super 8?
No, I stayed at a
Howard?
Trail Angels home.
Oh, really?
There. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember which one?
Homer and
Yes.
Teresa's
Yes.
house. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's great.
Yeah, they were great.
Oh yeah,
They were-
he's a major trail angel in that area. Yeah, Homer's a great guy.
Yeah, and it really surprised me. It was on their, it was the day before their wedding anniversary, and they were climbing up. They were gonna go hike McAfee Knob because they were married up there, and they do that every year.
That's right.
And so they weren't even gonna be home, and they said, as long as you're okay with us not being there. And I was amazed that they, were so trusting and so kind to just
Yeah.
let me in their home. So it was really great.
Anything that you would like to share, just maybe as an inspiration or something, or hello to people out there, or encouraging words, or just something other than me just asking you a question. Any of your thoughts about the trail or anything?
Sure. One thing I kind of hear a lot, and sometimes it's in relation to like lighter stuff. So like some people don't carry a stove, and I hear people say, "Oh, I could never do that." And even with the trail, "Oh, I could never do that." But you don't really know until you actually give it a try. Like it's kind of a cliche, but you never know if you don't try.
Do you carry a stove?
I do carry a stove. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What have you mainly eating?
For dinner, I mostly eat like nor rice
Nor
or
side?
pasta sides, ramen, macaroni and cheese is kind of a treat sometimes.
What's the staple? I've got it in here. I need to give some of it away. The ramen. I've got some ramen I need to give away, but you're packing too much already. So
Yeah, I just got food yesterday.
And what's the one thing that you crave when you're on the trail that you wish, other than you said maybe vegetables, but any particular meal maybe that Mama or Grandma cooked, or anybody that, if somebody said, you know what, when you get to where you're going to camp tonight, I'm going to have whatever you tell me right now, what would it be? By the way, I don't have that in the truck. And
You're not going to pull it out right now?
It's not a trick question.
I don't know. Man, I've gotten so used to it. I don't really
Wow.
think about it anymore.
Wow. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Mostly, like when I know I'm going to be in town, mostly all I want is a cold drink.
Cold
or
drink.
something. But,
Okay.
But yeah, I guess the food I don't really...
When you're at home, wasn't hiking, what is your favorite food? Do you have a favorite? Are you a meat and potatoes? Do you like seafood? Do you like salads?
I eat just about everything.
Okay.
One of my favorite meals is chicken fajitas.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Mexican dish.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you feel before you ever hiked the first mile? Did you ever, in your mind, sort out if you really thought you was going to be able to do it, or were you apprehensive about if you was going to be able to do it?
Yeah. Well, my dad and I, we had like a joke, he's like, we're going to see how it goes, but, we would tell people we're going to hike the Appalachian Trail, but she might be back in a week. Like, I didn't know if I was going to like it. And if I was just absolutely miserable, I wasn't going to force myself to do something that I hated.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a pretty good idea that I knew I liked being outside a lot.
Okay.
And so I thought there was a good chance that I would really like hiking. But I didn't know for sure.
Okay. Can you give me an answer to, do you know of anything you feel like has changed because you've hiked the trail? Something about you?
Yeah. I'm definitely more minimalist than I was before.
That's the most common answer.
I was kind of already leaning that way.
Okay.
Before I hiked and trying to get rid of stuff, but I think even more now I've realized how little you actually need. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you feel like you've got more confidence?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. And a lot of people ask me about it. How do you feel as a solo female hiker? That's probably one of the questions I get asked the most.
Sure. And how big of a gun you're carrying?
Yeah. Pepper spray,
Oh, yeah.
what do you have for protection? And just,
Right.
But yeah, just telling them, I got my common sense, and that's done me well so far, so.
That's probably the best tool you can have, common sense. And because if you lose that, you're going to lose everything. I'm going to ask you a question, and my viewers probably get tired of me asking this, but I enjoy seeing the reaction to the face when I make a comment about it and ask you something. Had you ever met a thru hiker prior to you hiking, and do you remember the first one you met ever?
So let me think. Yes, so I met, I think there's two
Okay.
that I met before I hiked.
How did you meet them, and what was the situation that you met them in?
Yeah, so one was through a class at REI
Okay.
that I went to when I
Okay.
knew I was going to thru hike.
Sure.
And the other one, she did a talk about her thru hike as well, but I play ultimate frisbee and she was part of that community. So I actually kind of already knew her, but I hadn't realized that she had thru hiked. So then I got to hear her talk about it.
After you met those people, the moment you met them and heard their story, were you impressed?
I was.
Really?
Yes.
Big time?
Yeah.
Really? You know where this is going?
Not
you know
exactly.
where I'm leading?
No.
Okay. Have you thought about how many people you're going to be the first person that they've ever met that thru hiked the Appalachian Trail? And they're going to have the feelings that you had when you first met that person.
No, I haven't thought about that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's tough. That's real
Yeah.
amazing. Do you think you will have any emotion at Springer? Meaning,
Probably, yeah.
Meaning, okay. Will somebody be with you, family member or something, to summit Springer?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
My dad has been talking about maybe coming down and hiking like the last day and a half or so with me.
Okay.
But we haven't finalized any plans yet. But that would be really special if he could be there.
Sure. Have you ever thought about quitting this year while you was out here? Now, there's a difference in thinking about, I miss home, I want to go home for a while, but did the thought seriously ever considered in your mind that I'm about to go home, I think I'm going to quit?
No.
Or stop? Okay, good.
No.
Good.
I want to quit, yes,
Right,
but I'm
right.
too determined, too stubborn.
That's good. That's the kind of answer that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people tell me, yes, it went through their minds lots, and they almost went home. In fact, there's some that went home and decided to come back out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I asked that question, so people watching this will know some emotions that they might go through if they ever go out here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got a lot of time to think when you're walking. What all do you think about?
All kinds
Is
of
it anything? Is it
All
any?
kinds
Well, let's see. Is it anything that you don't think about? You know, you stop and think when I talk to people, and they come out and and I say, "What'd you think about the last hour?" And they tell me all kind of stuff, and I
Yeah.
begin to say, "There's nothing that people don't think about. Every situation in life, I think y'all think about it sometime while you're out here."
Pretty much, yeah. What don't I think about? I don't know.
Probably nothing.
Yeah.
Probably think about everything. I've asked you what's changed you the most. Do you think you will miss the trail when you get home?
Yes.
Okay. Have you thought about doing another trail like the PCT?
Yes.
How, on a scale of 1 to 100, give me a percentage that might become a reality. Over 50%?
Yes.
Okay. Are you
For
already?
sure. Probably like 90.
And would that be pretty soon?
I don't know exactly, but I would say within the next 5 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what kind of
For sure.
work are you going to be pursuing?
So my degree is in chemical engineering.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I don't know
Smart.
exactly where I'm going to end up with that yet.
Have you started putting resumes in?
Not yet, no.
Do you realize how important what you're completing, is going to be in a resume?
Yes, I do.
Did you know that and think about that prior to hiking?
A little bit. I actually felt really guilty at first when I was about to graduate and all my friends and, my classmates were getting jobs. And I was like, I'm going out to hike for, 5 or 6 months. And it was kind of weird to go against that status quo. And even though it was what I wanted to do and I had the privilege of being able to do that, I didn't have to get a job right away, I still felt bad about it. But I've met so many people who work in like human resources or recruiting who have told me, wow, a thru hike, like that's really impressive. So
There he is.
it's been really reassuring to meet those people and talk to them.
Okay. Well, listeners, y'all know this is a little bit longer interview than I normally do, and a lot of y'all have been asking me about that, when I'll talk to them longer. The reason I really don't is because I don't want to hold them up. She's felt like she's comfortable sitting here for this long, so I've talked to her about 25 minutes, so we're gonna wrap it up. Before we wrap it up, though, I always give you a chance to say a final word, or thank you to people maybe, or say hello to somebody out there, or just a word of encouragement to somebody that may be thinking about doing this next year.
Yeah, I would just say, thank you to all my family and my support system. They've been really amazing. And also just all the people along the way who have helped out, giving me a ride into town, just little things like soda, it all really helps, keep my morale up and keep going. And if you're interested in doing it, like doing a thru hike, doing any length of a hike, definitely go for it. I would really encourage people. It's a lot of fun, and you should definitely do it.
All right, kids. God bless every step between here and Springer, and glad you stopped and talked to us for a minute.
Thank you.